G'day everyone and welcome to the January 2023 edition of Australian Model Railway News. We'll go over all the new announcements and updates in the Australian model railway industry. Australian Model Railway News and other videos on this channel are made possible by the Patreons on Patreon. And welcome to the new members this month. And if you are interested in joining the community, there is more information in the description below. As well as the Scale Model Supply, who make excellent paint and modelling accessories, and ABR Modelworks, who provide easy to build structures and modular baseboards, both who offer 10% off all their products for viewers of this channel, and willjamesrailways.com for railway related photos and merchandise. And of course, don't forget to be subscribed so you can keep up to date with my weekly videos. So before we get into the news, I will let you know that everything that I mention is linked in the description below, as well as the slider is timestamped to everything that I talk about, so you can skip or come back to anything that I mention. As well as that, don't forget to stick around to the end where I'll go through all the currently announced exhibitions and conventions that have been announced for 2023. And I have brought back the question, so don't forget to stick around for that as well. So let's get into it.
I heard you didn't buy into that one. Well, I heard all the stories on the
So to kick off the news, Mark Jesser, who has produced a small run of 20-foot Linfox containers in N scale, with the goal to do a lot more in different liveries, from 20-foot, 40-foot and 48-foot, with only 200 being made at a time. These are professionally injection molded and manufactured overseas. These containers are to fit on the Oz and Rail ready-to-run container flats. These have pad-printed markings and are fitted with an internal magnet. These are available from Mark's website, as well as his N Scale Australia shirts. An update from the very popular Paul's 3D prints here in Melbourne. Paul has released a Victorian Railways AV and BV passenger car, and they go very well with the CV and ABL that Paul has released in the past. Paul has also released Victorian NSET passenger cars, which are the ACN, BRN and BN, and they are all priced at $40 each. But I think the most exciting thing is that Paul now has a website, which is launched with over 100 models on it, from freight, passenger, locomotives, both steam and diesel, even electric passenger trains and line-side bits. Paul is covering mainly Victorian railways, but has also got New South Wales and South Australia in N, HO and O scale, and there is certainly a lot to go through and be tempted by, so head over if you haven't already. A quick update from On Track Models about the Victorian Louver vans, which should arrive at their warehouse by January 30, or yesterday depending on when you're watching this. At this point, all the discounted pre-order prices will have ended and will have risen to $225 for a 3-pack of wagons. So by now, all the orders should have been sent out, and hobby shops will be supplied within a few days of the shipment arriving. DCC Concepts want me to let you all know about their DCC circuit breakers. Damage to decoders, DCC systems, and layout control accessories can usually all be traced back to shorts and overloads. Circuit protection is therefore needed on the DCC bus to ensure that voltage spikes from shorts, overloads, and surges don't cause permanently catastrophic damage on your model railway. Of course, most DCC systems have a level of protection, but these can be slow to act and unpredictable. Some systems don't even have any overload protection at all. On larger layouts, a short or an overload in one area often causes a shutdown to the entire railway, meaning all trains stop and operation becomes impossible for everyone until the problem is rectified. Not an ideal situation, especially on a club or exhibition layout. Or even worse if sound is being used with everything going quiet and then having to perform a restart. Perfect for all brands of DCC systems, including low-powered starter systems such as Hornby, NCE and Prodigy systems. The DCC Concepts Intelligent DCC Circuit Breaker works out of the box to protect your layout and DCC system against damage caused by overloads and short circuits. Simply set jumpers to the current limit selection between 1.25 and 5 amps. Easy screw terminal connections for track power, input and output, trip LED, manual reset and ESP connections with no solder pads. ESP connection allows for installation of wireless remote panel indicator, simple set screw adjuster for trip sensitivity so that you can allow for stay alive charging on your locomotives. Protective aluminium casing above insulation pad below the safety. In most cases, simply take the intelligent DCC circuit breaker out of the packaging, connect it to your DCC bus wires, and you're done. DCC Concepts Intelligent Circuit Breaker works with any DCC system. It's fully electronic, highly reliable, fast acting, and adjustable to give you the best level of protection. Multi-protected power districts are supported, each district being able to give its own trip current setting. Total flexibility means a total protection for your layout and your collection. Stephen Johnston Models recently released a photo of their upcoming New South Wales Railways hearse van. They said they still need to get a run of the chassis etches done before they can determine price and when it will be released, but that information shouldn't be too far away. They've also acquired the patterns made by Peter Ford for the New South Wales outline kits he produced under the Far North Hobbies label. They said that over time, they plan to release small batches of many of the kits that he produced. This will involve making new etched silver chassis for those kits that had cast brass sole bars and axle box assemblies, and new bogies to replace those made from cast brass where suitable alternatives are not readily available. Items produced from Peter's patterns will be sold under the Stephen Johnston's Model brand with a new pale blue label marked Peter Ford Series. The first items to be released are the castings from the Alco 251-6, Alco 251 V12 and EMD 645 V16 prime movers. The Alco V12 has two different versions. One is under repair with cylinder heads and rocker covers removed, while the other is in operational condition. All of these items are now available from their web store under the Peter Ford Series tab. ARGYLE LOCO Works now have pre-orders available for the Roundhouse Devonport live steam locomotive. The Devonport Locomotive Works started producing these 040 saddle tanks in the early 1900s for industrial use. Devonport 040 saddle tank Kiama is preserved in active working service at the Illawarra Light Railway Society at Albion Park in New South Wales. This model will feature internal gas firing using their FG type burner, with outside framed 040 chassis with roundhouse internal Walschaerts valve gear, an exhaust enhancer plus water top-up system and water gauge. Controls fitted as standard: a steam regulator, safety valve, pressure gauge, displacement lubricator, gas regulator and reversing gear. Full radio control is available for both regular and reversing valve gear, using a 2.4 GHz radio control. The wheels are gauge adjustable between 32mm and 45, with optional insulated wheels available. These saddle tanks will be available with a choice of matte black or silver smokebox, matte black or red oxide roof, and the bodywork in any of the standard roundhouse colours. Prices are set at $3,640 for manual control and $4,080 for radio equipped, with pre-orders now on the ARGYLE LOCO website. Roundhouse Models now have 3D printed steel coil loads in HO scale with 3 different pack options available, which goes as following. Priced at $20 a pack plus postage. All packs contain 8 steel coil loads and will suit many different eras and rolling stock. These coils come unpainted and made from resin. They're made in Melbourne and are available on the Roundhouse Models website. Some news from Powerline Models, who said that they've got a new shipment of the PR TC2 train set controllers that are due to arrive in their warehouse shortly. The next thing to arrive will be production of Victorian bulk wheat hoppers, open wagons and steel wagons due in their warehouse in early February. These 2 shipments will be followed by the Victorian T-Class Series diesel electric locomotives, also known as the high cabs. These will have cutaway valances, be available in VR, V-Line, in DC or DCC with sound-fitted locomotives, and an announcement on their arrival date is yet to be set. Powerline said that they are still awaiting details and dates for the completion of their Z-Car project, with outstanding carriages from 707 operations and the PTV Z-Cars. As soon as they know the dates are set down, an announcement will be made. Australian Railway Models have released a sample photo of 3830 with the Spirit of Progress headboard. These models are currently available as pre-orders through your local model railway shop. The recommended retail price is still $299 for these ready-to-run HO scale models, and they seem to still be very popular from model beginners through to the professional. Brimbank Models announced that they will no longer be producing N-scale models, and don't plan on returning to produce models at any stage in the future, but they will fulfill any back orders that were made to date. However, Brimbank Models will make all 3D STL files available on their website for a small fee, at approximately $10 to $15 per model depending on the complexity, or perhaps even less. On the upside, they will also make all their HO scale models available for a little more. They did add that they will continue to be creating 3D models in both N and HO scale, and they will make these all available on their new store. All the pricing for the STL files is now available on their site, and they have added that they will endeavour to have all the files available for purchase by the start of February. Another new 3D printed N-scale manufacturer has hit the market, Little Trains by Pete. Currently with 7 items on offer, from V-Line N-Class, Hitachi and Harris Electric Suburban sets, and a couple of trams. These also come DC powered. Models are made to order and will take about 4 to 6 weeks from when the order is placed. Now they have said that they will also have some more models coming soon, so stay tuned. Railmotor Models have shown off at both the Warrnambool and Corio exhibitions, a new range of signals about to hit the market, from HO to garden scale, with more information to come soon. As well as that, they have got a new run of quarry wagons on the way and should be here soon. DCC Central have 8-pin 58420 ESU blank decoder and 8-pin NEM 652, as well as 58429 ESU V5 21-pin decoders back in stock, as well, of course, as a large range of DCC accessories and parts, so check them out for more information. So next, we're going to head across to West Australia to hear from Chris at ABR Modelworks, who's going to give us an update on all his accessories, modular buildings, and of course, modular baseboards.
Hi modelers, it's Chris the Modeler at ABR Modelworks, and welcome to the January 2023 What's Been Happening at ABR Modelworks update. Now as you can see, the studio workshop is quite a mess. I'm surrounded by hundreds of parts for baseboards, and some 3D parts as well. And here's why. Late December and January was supposed to be all about catching up on 3D parts that we hadn't finished getting to market, and some other parts and processes within the studio that just needed to be tidied up. And I was also going to my niece's wedding, which took about 2 weeks. And that put quite a big hole in the amount of time that I had available. But as the new year came upon us, we started to get lots of inquiries and orders for baseboards, which I'm really excited about. And so for all of those who actually placed orders, thanks very much. It's greatly appreciated and a nice boost to the start of the year. In fact, it's been the best first month ever for a release of a new product, which makes me even more excited. So thanks again. So now we have a few customers using our baseboards who is actually using the baseboards. Because initially it was intended that we would be selling them largely to new modelers and people who perhaps didn't have the skills to do the woodwork themselves and didn't have the tools or somewhere to do it, all those sorts of those issues. Well, that's true, that's actually taken place. We have some new modelers involved. But surprisingly, we've had a bunch of orders from people who have layouts already and are wanting to extend them. And in talking to those guys, it's been a little bit along the lines of, well, I just don't want to go through the hassle of having to make something myself. So I'd like to thank those experienced modelers in choosing our system. Now, given that I spent about 2 weeks in the States at my niece's wedding, which was absolutely wonderful, I did manage to sneak in a little bit of roll fanning and sightseeing along the lines of looking for things to make in the future. And I came up with a bunch of ideas for buildings, which is great, and additionally a whole heap of things for 3D parts, along the lines of switch machines, switch locks, boom gates, and train deraillers. Now these parts will start to go into production over the next month or so, so keep an eye out for those. Now while we're on the subject of 3D parts, now last year I promised that we would get N-scale 3D parts available by the end of the year. And we didn't quite get there because they started going up on the website in the first week of January of this year. But nevertheless, we've done that. And there's now an additional 59 3D parts in N-scale, along with a bunch of 3D part packs. So check out the website for those. And of course, there's a whole bunch more to come. In fact, we're getting more inquiries all the time for new product from you guys, the modelers. And one of those inquiries were some additional stacks of 3D drums. Now this is one of the ones that we just produced late last year, and we now have a 2-width stack and a single width stack as well, and they will be going up on the web in the coming week. Additionally, late last year we had somebody inquire of a signal gantry, and so that's the HO scale. That's it laying in its sprues and the N scale, so you know, quite nice little products. Now these are going to be a little bit longer in final production because I need to source some LED lights, and there's still a few little tweaks that I need to make, because certainly in the N scale it is very thin and quite fragile, and it needs to be robust enough for you guys to be able to assemble them. So stay tuned for that. I'm hoping that they'll be available by the end of March. So now what's next? Well, with the time spent in America, it sort of slowed things down a little bit, plus all the extra orders that we got for the baseboards. So it's going to be another few weeks or so just tidying things up and getting really up to speed to get into serious production for this year. But now what I'm looking to do, of course, making a whole bunch more 3D parts, especially some of the photos that I took of parts in the US. And additionally, I'm real keen to extend the range of model kits. And probably towards the second half of the year, we'll be looking to introduce the N-gauge kits as well. Now next week, I am hoping to produce a couple of more videos on our baseboard system and ABR lines. And one of the topics that I want to cover is the painting or sealing of the baseboard itself. And I've got some ideas on how to solve one of the problems that could be quite a large problem for modelers, is that when you've painted your baseboard and then you bolt them together, at some point you're going to want to pull it apart. And if you haven't solved that problem in terms of stopping the paint from sticking the boards together, then that's going to be a real issue. So I've got a couple of really good ideas that are very simple and free that I'm going to discuss with you in these videos. Additionally, as far as ABR lines is concerned, I'm going to be adding that extension that's going to make the baseboard that I'm working on wider. So stay tuned for those couple of videos. So that's it for January 23. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the ABR YouTube channel, please do so and ring the bell to get notifications on new videos as they come available. And please click on the like button. That really helps to tell YouTube that you like what we're doing. I'm Chris, the modeler at ABR Modelworks. Have a great day modeling, and thanks for watching.
Very exciting news from Chris. Along the track models now have Federation brick houses with terracotta tiled roof in HO and N scale, triple fronted brick Federation house with terracotta roof style and glazing, which was inspired by 429 Inkerman Street, St Kilda East, and these are priced at $60, as well as weatherboard cottages in HO and N scale with double fronted weatherproof cottage with corrugated iron roof and glazing, inspired by a house on Mark Street in Brunswick. These are also $60 each. These buildings can be found all over Australia in cities and rural settings. These kits will come with assembly instructions and can be glued together with polycement superglue or PVA, and can be painted as desired. All the parts are 3D printed using PLA, although some finishing parts may be required. Postage is also set at a flat rate of $10 per order anywhere in Australia. To see all their models and be notified when new designs are available, do head along to their Facebook group Along the Track Models. Ixion Models has told us that they've authorised the production of the MF and LF bogie, sheep and cattle wagons, with the delivery expected around April and May this year. They did add that significant rises in production and shipping costs have meant that they cannot hold the price at the hoped for level. The MF cattle wagons will be $84.50 each, and the considerably more complex LF sheep wagon will be set at $89.50. 3 packs of each of these wagons will be available at $253.50 and $268.50 respectively, and they said that they will be posting the available wagon codes and number pack contents soon. IDR Models have shown off painted samples of the CHS coal hoppers, most of the parts painted and assembled. They have said that some versions were not completed in time to be sent to them before Chinese New Year holidays, but production should be finished around mid-February. with shipping soon after that. If you are after these, they are still set at a pre-order price of $250 on their website, which will rise to $300 on arrival. Now, not strictly Australian, but Rapido announced a GE 44-tonner. Now, I know these aren't exactly the same as the ones that ended up here in Australia, but I believe that they're pretty close. They will be available in unpainted versions, so this could be a great base to work with. For some context, 4 of these were exported to Australia, all saw service on the New South Wales Government Railways as the 79 class, before 2 of them were sold to Commonwealth Railways, becoming the DE class. The Rapido trains HO scale GE 44-tonner locomotive features multiple phases and detailed variations. They'll be heavy die-cast chassis with fuel tanks. Correct fuel tank skirting in 2 styles, separately applied door latches, full cab interior, photo-etched cab steps, smooth running, strong cordless motor with dual flywheels. The DC models are DCC ready with NEXT18 decoder socket and speakers. DCC models will be sound equipped with ESU decoders. These are priced at $189.95 US for a DC model and $299.95 for a DCC sound equipped model. Now, a big update from SDS Models and Phoenix reproductions from both their website and at the recent Arglye Model Railway Show in Victoria. They've said that the balance of all outstanding 81s and a rerun of bicentennial models will be continuous until they are delivered, and they anticipate all 81 class models will be delivered by mid-2023. The South Australian 900s are now complete, and they are awaiting the final packaging materials to arrive and dispatch to them, which is scheduled for late February. They did have the 900 class painted samples on display at Cryo, and I must say they're looking excellent. Well as that, an unannounced Australian National 900. For those not in the know, the 900 class never made it to the AN colour scheme, although I kind of wish it had, as it really does suit them. Steve did tell us that these will be released, but in a very small run, with more information to come. The Queensland Railways 1620 class, the Tasmanian Government Railways Y class, and the MRF class model painted samples are partially assembled, with their supplier aiming to ship these by mid-April. However, they have said that they won't be ready for the Brisbane Model Train Show at the beginning of May, but likely soon thereafter. The much-awaited Victorian Railways K-Class locomotive, they've said that this model has been ready to go for a few months. However, they are presently waiting a production slot. And they added that there is considerable pressure upon the supplier from several larger model train companies presently. The supplier is aware of the earlier delays, but they are currently doing their utmost to find a continuous production slot. But I guess it looks like, after all this wait, we should have the K-classes in 2023. The Victorian Railways T-class locomotives are ready for production and are awaiting a slot after the 81 class vacate the paint shop, and they hope to have the final painted samples available in March. News about the New South Wales Government Railways D50 or D53 class locomotives. They said the progress on this project has been slow, but they should have the project finalised by May this year. And lastly, for locomotives, the South Australian Railways 500 class sample was on display, although this is just a test 3D print. But we were told that this is potentially due later in the production line after the Victorian Railways Y classes, possibly. As well as that, a 3D print of the DL class was also on display at Cryo. These will be a partial retool from the original, with a new front end, with correct profiles on the angle of the cab. The rest of the body will pretty much remain the same as the previous Austrains run, but with more modern standards. They said that there'll be more on this later this year. Now onto rolling stock. The MHO, VHO and DMC vans will be arriving in February this year, as well as the South Australian Railways 700 class carriages, where painting and tampo printing has commenced. However, this is a huge undertaking, and the colour and livery complexity delivery now expected mid-year. They said that the LHO, LHY and KP class models are almost complete and will be shipped from China early this year. New South Wales Railways S-Trucks rerun of the colourful S-Truck packs number 27, 28 and 29, plus all single packs including new 4-wheel models. New South Wales shunt of float models were designed and tooled back when they were produced as timber-sided versions of the S-Truck. As several other projects took precedence with this supplier, the models remained incomplete until recently. These models will arrive in mid-2023 along with production of the popular S-Trucks, and will include another 4 units in this above single pack range. Victorian Railways Arglye open wagon first engineering samples will be ready in November. These models will be offered in 5-piece packs like the S-Trucks. The packs will cover the IZ wagon with buffers through to their final iterations of the new all-welded steel bodies on old riveted underframes. There are 2 door latch variants, along with 2 styles of end-body bracing. They are offering combinations of sides and ends to suit a wide variation of body assemblies. As well as that, they also do a rerun of the KQ container wagon and some popular red GY wagons with the RY production. Later in 2023, they are planning on relaunching the Austrains 4 and 6 wheel wagons and van models, and of course, they will be suitably improved. Lastly, the ELF, ELX, and ESX open wagon tooling has commenced. These wagons are based upon their earlier Austrains models. However, they have been upgraded to contemporary standards with new finer detailed sides, ends, improved chassis, bogies, and brake gear. And their future re-release program, they will encompass the corrugated sided versions, the South Australian Railways plain and corrugated versions, and many variations found on today's railways. Order forms for these and many other models are available on their website. News from Auscision, starting with another announcement. HO Scale, New South Wales Railways, NPHH cement hopper. Auscision received tooling samples of these cement hoppers. They stated that this is one of the most detailed freight wagons they have ever produced, with every little pipe included on each model, adding that there is more detail under the chassis on the NPHH than some other companies put on their complete wagons. These will have scale-sized metal knuckle couplers and blackened metal disc wheels as standard, see-through edged metal roof walks, scale-size air hoses, detailed plastic main body and chassis, metal and plastic handrails, along with each model being accurately weighted for rolling performance. They have produced both as-delivered bodied versions and the later modified wagons. The later versions include air tanks fitted at one end, mud deflectors on the chassis, ground-operated roof hatches, blanked-off ladders, and extra roof piping. There will be 5 different liveries to choose from, including the Freight Rail prototype livery, all the way up to the one and only Pacific National stickered wagon. Pre-orders are now open and order forms are now available and can be downloaded and mailed away. If you are in the area, however, apparently tooling samples are on display at Australian Modeler. They said that the NPHH cement hoppers are expected to arrive later this year. Auscision, HO Scale, CHS coal hoppers, and BGVF grain hopper pre-orders will end on the 28th of February. They said that their factory has advised production of the models will be completed soon and will ship out of China in the coming months. And as soon as they have firm arrival dates, they will update their website. They did add that these photos shown are from August 2022, so some improvements and colour changes have been made and will appear on the production models. 2 unannounced, and well, at time of recording this, reruns also dropped. The Victorian Railways IZ Open Wagon in VR Brown, which suits 1955 to the 1960s era, and the VR Hansa Yellow GH Grain Wagons with 2 and 3 roof hatches. These are priced at $300 for a pack of 6, and these are the 3rd reruns of these. A photo did the rounds at the start of the month of another B-class rerun. This, however, turned out to be a fake order form. Auscision did say that if it's not announced directly from them, it's not to be trusted. Lastly, the Auscision website now says the New South Wales NHYH coal hoppers will be available next week, so I must assume that that's the first week of February. As well as that, they still have the BL and G class listed as being released in February this year, and the New South Wales 44 class still says it was slated for delivery in December 2022, so I guess we'll see how February plays out. In my own news, I have no new products. However, there are still quite a few items for sale on my web store, and I'm pretty keen to move them all out to get new merch into production for 2023. As well as that, my Fremo modular railway standard is now up on Facebook, and for those who don't use Facebook, it's also on my website. There will be more videos and updates coming on this model railway project as it goes along, as well as of course lots of exhibition videos and things like that, so be sure to be subscribed so you don't miss out. Now let's take a look at all the exhibitions and conventions that have been announced for 2023. Gold Coast Model Railway Club will have an open day as well as a buy and sell day at their club rooms on February 4th. North Shore Railway Modelers Association will be holding their 50th anniversary exhibition on the 4th and 5th of March at the Forestville Memorial Halls. In Epping on the 11th of March, the SCMRA seminar, The Electrified Network, will be happening at Epping Creative Centre, Dents Park, with registration essential by the 28th of February. The Model Railway Craft and Hobby exhibition will be held at the Sacred Heart College in Kyneton from the 11th to the 13th of March. The Train and Hobby Show at Sandown Racecourse is on again from the 11th to the 13th of March. In Bundaberg, Queensland on March 25th and 26th, the Bundaberg Model Train and Hobby Expo will be happening at the Bundaberg Multiplex and Convention Centre. Canberra Model Railway Expo will be held on the 25th and 26th of March at the UC High School, Kayleen. Rail Heritage West Australia will be holding a Models and Machines exhibition on April 2nd. The Sydney N-Scale Model Railway Club will have an open day on the 15th of April at their club rooms in Rockdale. The Yarra Valley Model Railway Club will be holding the Diamond Creek exhibition on the 8th and 9th of April. The 15th Narrow Gauge Convention will be hosted in Melbourne over the Easter long weekend, which is April 7th to 9th. AMRA Queensland will be having their open day at their club rooms in Zilmere on the 15th of April. Brisbane Model Train Show will be happening over the 6th and 7th of May at the Brisbane Showgrounds. Epping Model Railway Club's Great Train Show will also be held on the 6th and 7th of May at the Rosehill Racecourse. On May 20 and 21st, Latrobe Valley Model Railway Association will be holding an exhibition at the Warragul Exhibition Hall. On Sunday the 21st of June, the Railway Modelers Club of Queensland will hold an open day and buy swap sell day at its club rooms in Brendale, Queensland from 10 to 1. AMRA Western Australia will be holding its annual exhibition on June 3rd to 5th at the Claremont Showgrounds in Perth. Over the King's Birthday long weekend, in South Australia, they'll be holding the Adelaide Model Railway Show, which will be held at the Greyhound Racing Track, South Australia, from the 10th to the 12th of June. In Melbourne, the Waverley Model Railway Club will have its exhibition at the Brandon Park Community Centre. The Grampians Model Railway exhibition will be held on the 8th and 9th of July in Stawell, Victoria. The NMRA Australian Regional National Convention will be holding rails at Rose Hill from the 29th to the 2nd of October. The 3 days will see clinics, layout tours, and more to suit modelers from beginner to more experienced. More details will be available soon, but in the meantime, you can check out their website, nmra.org.au/Rosehill. Their convention, Rails at Rose Hill, is open to all with an interest in the hobby. Interested members can keep in touch with the convention as it develops via their website. In Adelaide on September 2nd, Modelling the Railways of South Australia number 27 will be held at the Flinders Medical Centre, Bedford Park. On October 14th and 15th, the Golden Valley Model Railway Club will be holding its exhibition at the Macintosh Centre in Shepparton. So there we go. If you are in a Model Railway Club and you do have an exhibition or an event coming up, please reach out and I will happily add it to this list. And of course, if you do plan on attending any of these exhibitions, let them know that you heard about it here on Will James Railways. Now, this month's question. What was the last thing that you purchased for your model railway? I know that at the start of the year, Auscision had a 20% off weekend, and I know a lot of you jumped on it. So what'd you get? Or maybe you got something for Christmas. Let us know in the comments below what your latest acquisition for your model railway collection is. So there we go. That's all for Model Railway news for January 2023. A massive episode, and thank you all so much for watching. And of course, don't forget to leave any feedback or comments in the comment section below. And of course, don't forget to be subscribed if you're not already. And I'll be back really soon with more exhibition reports, trip reports, model railway news and reviews, all that kind of thing. So I'll see you all soon. Hooroo!